Olly Craughn from DPD, welcome. Fresh off the stage at the Microlise conference. Olly, just have a few questions really, just picking up on some of the things that you were talking about in the conference. So DPD has set, I think, what you called a validated net zero target. Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about what that means and what it commits you to?
So, Science Based Target Initiative was founded by the UN, WWF, the Carbon Disclosure Project. For those who aren't sort of, or haven't heard that term, the way I could explain it is like the Michelin star of net zero targets.
Oh, okay.
It's fully validated, which means that every year we need to ensure that we're on target, disclosing that information to the SBTi. There's so much noise around net zero. There's a lot of companies and businesses that state a target but don't have any external validation.
Yes. Yeah. So why did you think it was important to do that for yourselves?
I think it provides confidence from our, for our customers and our consumers using DPD that we're talking about a sort of a quote that we were saying earlier. You either be about it or you talk about it, and we're being about it. There's too many talkers, definitely.
Yeah, and that's a common thing from the DPD culture, is it?
Definitely, we get
doing
stuff
rather than talking.
Yeah,
Indeed. And so how are you doing with the decarbonisation strategy generally?
Fantastic. We've made 34% reduction on our emissions from baseline already. So that 2020 was our baseline. We've got to reduce by 43% by the end of the decade for our near-term target, and then net zero for 2040. So we're performing really well through electrification of the final mile and decarbing our larger kit, our HGVs.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and I guess you've got a big focus on decarbonisation now, but if we look a bit further forward, what's next, do you think? Could that be autonomous vehicles maybe? Or
we have some robots delivering, they're fully autonomous. They're delivering sort of one parcel at a time at the moment. They have a 1 mile radius of depot. They're in Milton Keynes, a town called Raunds in Northamptonshire. And there's some other cities being laid out. But I think the future for autonomy is really important. There are certain places where depots are way away from where they're going to deliver, which means that drivers got to sit and drive for hours on end, while if they lived in that town and city, that vehicle could come and meet them there. And that means that the driving hours, working hours, there wouldn't be those sort of inefficiencies.
Do you think that's a way away before we get driverless trucks on the roads?
It all is really about the UK government making a decision and backing it. And I think the white paper was being reviewed, wasn't it, this month?
Yeah,
I think.
That's right. We have a new draft legislation in place that hopefully will provide the framework for, well, at least running the trials on public roads and moving it forward. So that's good news. Clearly, what you're doing, in terms of you and your peers, sounds innovative. You're trying lots of things and committing to lots of things. So clearly innovation is something that's fairly strong in DPD. So how do you do innovation as a company? How do you do that well?
It's been the lifeblood of the business. It's always been core in our principles. The 1 hour window, which I hope that yourselves and listeners have had. We're way above that. So we're always looking at the next thing. We're always looking at investing and trialing. It's testing, trial and error.
Trial and error, yeah, that's the way, isn't it? Learn from your mistakes, move on, try again. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Good. Olly Craughn from DPD.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.